Then the Gemara says, there's another way, the mahadrin mina mahadrin. What does that look like? Says the Gemara, machlokas Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Instead of lighting one ner, you light a lot of neros. The shaila is, which ner, how many neros do you light? Beis Shammai says, you light 8 the first day, 7, 6, 5, 4, and the last day being the least. And Beis Hillel says, you start off small, and you end up going to the highest the 8th day. Now, what's in this machlokas? And why is it mahadrin mina mahadrin to show something about the day of Chanukah? Before we're learning about mahadrin, we're talking about a personal expression. Now we're talking about being matzim, being a full-blown Chanukah, to express the Chanukah in its full light. So now, what is Beis Shammai saying? Right? So the Gemara says Beis Shammai is the keneged, the days that are leaving. That's one pirush in Beis Shammai. The other pirush in Beis Shammai is that's keneged the paras achag we have in Sukkos. The other time we say halal hagadol, the full halal, where we have karbanos, we bring parim every single day, and it starts with 13 and it goes down till 7, right? And every day is less and less and less. So Beis Shammai says you see go less and less and less. So what's tamun in this thing of Beis Shammai? So there's a klal that it says in the B'Shem de Vilna Gaon that the reason why halacha is not like Beis Shammai is not because they didn't know what they're talking about. It's because, as the Gemara says in Yevamos, they were charifi tzvei, which means they had a deeper understanding of things. And they were so deep, they were leaving the confines of this world, and they were seeing what's correct on a shalem level, on a lasid level, the way the world should look in perfection. And that was how the mitzvahs they were put down in this world, and that's why the halacha is not like them now, halacha like them in lasid level, in Zman Mashiach. So now let's look at what Beis Shammai is saying. Beis Shammai is saying that there's 8 days left, light 8. There's 7 days left. They're looking in the future. What's going to happen? And I'm recognizing the Chanukah of what's going to be. They're not focusing on the now. They're focusing on the impact of the Chanukah. And what's the impact of the Chanukah? We see by parim hayotzim. What was the reason why they brought parim on Sukkos? And why did it go down? Says that in Chazal that on Sukkos what we're doing is we're changing the way the goyim live in the world. By bringing karbanos, we're uplifting them and connecting them, not that they have our own private malchus, which is against Hashem, but including them in the malchus of Hashem, helping the malchus of Hashem run in the world. Like that's the job of the goyim, right? The Jews, our job is to be kohanim, to know what the Ratzon Hashem is, like the CEO of the company. The owner told us exactly how the company should run. And the workers of the company who actually do the jobs, we give them over the tasks that we understood from God. So we have a certain mitzvahs to do in the world, the Ratzon Hashem, and the Goyim help us do those mitzvahs. Like we learned, it's some shita that even the Goyim are supposed to make tzitzis for you, right? Daber Rabbi Yisrael Malta lehem, that Kal Yisrael should speak it out, and the v'asu lehem, the tzitzis should be made by Goyim, right? So there is shita like that. So the Goyim help us make the whole malchus of the world of Hashem practically. But it's our job to make sure that put them in the right place. Like Yosef put his brothers in the right place, we're Mlechas Kohanim, we lead the Goyim into the right place. So by bringing karbanas about the Goyim, all of Sukkos, we're putting them in the malchus of Hashem, and at the end of the day we have this Shmini Atzeres, which is oneness, one par, which expresses the sum total of the accomplishment of bringing these parim. Says Beis Shammai, do the same thing in Chanukah. What that means is, Chanukah is Gilui Shechina, right? Gilui Shechina is a way not only of affecting ourselves, a way of changing the world. Yavan was the opposite of Gilui Shechina, and by lighting the Chanukah Neris every year, we change the world of Yavan. They take the clip of Yavan away.
I thought the whole avodah is primarily to manifest the Shechina in the household.
The Shechina in the household is everything we do is a garin that affects the entire world. So when you make shalom bayis in your house, you're making shalom with the whole world. Right? People want to affect the world. They want to change the whole world. You know how to change the world? Change yourself. change your Dalet Amos. And by definition, it's going to affect the whole world, because a Jew is so connected to Hashem, whatever we do, he responds. He doesn't respond on a level of personal level to me, he responds on a global level. So when the Hadlakas Neiros of Chanukah is not just Shechina, but it's actually to change the world, to take Yavan, the Klipa of Yavan, which tried to say that Chachma is the main point and there's no Hashem in any Chachma, it's just your brains, and he's not working with you in your brains. He's not giving you a hashra of his Torah in your brains, not like Torah Shebal Peh. And they say, Kisvu al keren hashorosh, ein lechem chelik b'Elokei Yisrael. Every time we like Chanukah, you're showing, the world is Elokei Yisrael. The world is Hashem showing up in the world. So you do that the 8th night, wow, you did a huge makata to Yavan. I know certain people, very holy people, who are able to see the energy of the world. And they tell me that on the Chanukah light, when light the candles, all of the black stuffs in the world, the shadim and the ruchos and things like that, negative things, not the ruchos, the shadim, they don't have any power on the night of Chanukah. Wow. It's like huge blast of light that comes into the world, right? So that's the 8th night. So Hashem took out all of his artillery and how many Yevanim are left now? Okay, so there's some Yevanim left, right? Then 7th night comes, even more Yevanim are gone, right? By the time the 1 night comes, there's a few leftover people, and next we're ready to go back into Chol, because there was such an impact on the world. This year's job of Gilu Shechina was done. So Beis Shammai is saying, notice the accomplishment, notice how the future, notice what was done by the Neiros, and that express in your Chanukah licht. In other words, give Eidos that the world is changing through your actions. That's the point of Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel says no. If you want to fully express Chanukah, you have to start a little bit, and then more, and then more. And the Gemara says why? Malin bakodesh v'lo moridin. Keneged hayamim that are coming. What does it mean Malin bakodesh lo moridin? That proves they understood that the kedusha of the Chanukah gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know about you, but sometimes it comes in the middle of Chanukah, and I did this already a bunch of times. I said halacha a bunch of times. There's a bunch of, okay, yeah, whatever, we're done. It's okay, time to go back to life. It's getting boring already, right? But the truth is not the way it is, because it's another opportunity. In a practical way, when we look at the nisim that happen in our life, so you start noticing them, and then you get good at it, and you say, Hallel, you know what happens the next day? You notice even more. And you get connected to other supernatural things in your life. And wow, that happened. Then you start thinking about the future. It's wow, what's the potential? What could happen over here? Potential happen over here. So every day of Chanukah is a way of going higher and higher. There's more Shechina in my house. Hashem is more nochach because I let him in more and I see him more. And then I have more hodah to say. And the fact that I did it yesterday makes more. So every day the light of Chanukah is what the change that happened is happening. The avodah you're doing right now, the hodah and the pirsum hanes in you, so it gets bigger and bigger. And the last day of Zos Chanukah is Kenega. We lane in the parasha Zos Chanukah, which means now Zos, this experience of 8 nights of the Beis Hamikdash being finished, of all the people in all of the brothers, all of the Shvatim already bringing the Chanukah Sabayas. That's the point. Now we have a complete Gilu Shechina. So that's why Beis Hillel was saying over that it's important to focus on the change that happened in the world, in you. That now every day is getting more heilig and more heilig and more heilig. Can you pause for a second, Yamin?